what scales Bitcoin is not education and educate everybody. It's utility. But what that means, and I believe you'll be less concerned about volatility if you earned your Bitcoin rather than buy it. Because volatility is the price of Bitcoin versus the US dollars. Well, you're only looking at it US dollars because you bought it for US dollars. Some people are building it, but not enough. How do we then look at other areas where there are problems and say, how do we build solutions for that and integrate the many interesting features of Bitcoin?
Conversations about Bitcoin often revolve around its role as a store of value, particularly in the Western world. But what about its potential as a medium of exchange, especially in regions where traditional financial systems fall short? Femi Longe, a visionary in the African tech space, challenges us to reconsider Bitcoin beyond its store of value narrative. Join us as we delve into his insights, exploring the untapped possibilities and real-world applications of Bitcoin in addressing pressing issues faced by communities in Africa and beyond. Before we get on with the video, we'd like to introduce our sponsor, Stamp Seed. Follow the link in our description below for 15% off your stamping kit. Furthermore, 77% of our viewers on this channel are not yet subscribed. If you are enjoying this content and want to support our efforts, please hit that subscribe button and help our videos find more people. Without further ado, here is Femi Long on the What Bitcoin Did podcast.
There's Bitcoin, the store of value, which is an investment asset you buy, you stack, sat, you hodl. And there's Bitcoin, the medium of exchange, that is censorship resistant, that helps you move value globally without relying on the existing traditional systems. For people in the West, they don't have a problem of moving money across global systems and censorship. So for them, because of their lived reality, medium of exchange is a theoretical, abstract thing. And so they have latched on to Bitcoin as a store of value. Convert your dollars to Bitcoin, stack sats, hodl to the moon. And a lot of the philosophers and thought leaders in Bitcoin tell stories of Bitcoin just from that perspective of store of value. It's also the reason why 80% plus of products in Bitcoin, application products in Bitcoin, are either products that help you convert your fiat to Bitcoin exchanges or products that help you keep your Bitcoin wallets. I don't know how many more kind of multi-sig wallets we can have. The fundamental problems around exchange of value that Bitcoin addresses is out of the realm of reality of people in the West who are, in most cases, the forerunners and thought leaders in Bitcoin. In our part of the world, censorship is not an abstract concept. Difficulty in sending money to China or to Australia or to the UK is not an abstract concept. It's stuff we go through every day. A Nigerian student has just gotten admitted to a university in the UK, needs to send fees to the school to hold their admission, can't get money to the UK because the systems have been created. And when they do, the fees are high because every intermediary in the process gets a cut. What applications are we building in Bitcoin that speak to that use case? And that use case is not a one person's isolated use case. So because we have this reinforcing loop of conversations around Bitcoin, the store of value, which is what that whole Twitter circle is. And it's the same people who don't have this lived reality. And what I try and challenge Africans about is, look, the reality in the West is not our reality. And the way we see Bitcoin should not be the way the Westerners see Bitcoin. If we do, then we forget what exactly is the essence of this thing and how it solves real problems that we have. What excites me and the reason why I do Bitcoin, the reason why I took that job was that I thought this is an opportunity for us to engage with this new technology as builders rather than consumers. It's an opportunity for us, and we've seen it in every wave of technology. The automobile. We import every kind of car. What car companies do you know? What car brands do you know that are African? There are some, but they're even struggling to sell locally, talk less of importing to the rest of the world. So when people think Bitcoin, we need to be clear, what Bitcoin are we talking about? And I'm not saying store of value is not an important property of Bitcoin, but limiting perspective and limiting conversation on Bitcoin to that store of value feature diminishes the potential of the technology. It's like saying all you can do with your cash is buy stocks. And build a few things. One, and what I've challenged and I keep challenging the African Bitcoin community, we need to tell our stories. We need to share our narrative, because if we don't, then dominant narrative will dominate. And we need to use empirical data. We need to show examples. We need to explain these things that you're saying you're only hearing for the first time, because they're not in the dominant narrative. So we have to tell those stories, write the books, run the podcast, show what is happening here. That's one piece. Two, and it's what for me is also important, again, about the work I do. We need to get our people understanding the technology enough that they can actually build applications on it that solve our own use cases, but also show the rest of the Bitcoin world what the use cases of Bitcoin is, the real use cases of Bitcoin beyond store of value. And then three, I think the rest of the Bitcoin world needs to be humble and be open to learn. They may have been in Bitcoin longer than you. Doesn't mean they know more than you. I've been in Bitcoin barely 2 years. But I have perspective, which is the other thing. I find there are lots of people in Bitcoin for whom the entire world is Bitcoin. And they don't have context for the rest of the world. And that rest of the world context is important.
Today's video is sponsored by Stamp Seed. Don't store your Bitcoin in cold storage without stamping your seed phrase on an indestructible titanium plate. Stamp Seed is fireproof, rust-proof, impact-proof, and easy to hide. It has no loose parts and will give you ultimate peace of mind that your Bitcoin is safe and sound for the long term. Click the link in the description below for 15% off your stamping kit. Welcome to Bit Intelligence. We are committed to bringing you top-notch Bitcoin-only content. Subscribe to our channel and hit that bell icon. Okay, back to the video.
The way what scales Bitcoin is not education and educate everybody. It's utility. But what that means, and I believe you'll be less concerned about volatility if you earned your Bitcoin rather than buy it. Because volatility is the price of Bitcoin versus the US dollars. Well, you're only looking at it US dollars because you bought it for US dollars. Some people are building it, but not enough. How do we then look at other areas where there are problems and say, how do we build solutions for that? And integrate the many interesting features of Bitcoin, time locks, multi-sig, integrate all those things in creating experiences that fit what people want, gives them value, helps them improve their quality of life, and helps Bitcoin grow. So here's one that I think is crucial. And it came up in one of the conversations yesterday. I think your Bitcoin and the Bitcoin ecosystem gets stronger when you have applications built on Bitcoin. But to build applications and real world company, you need resources. So rather than keeping your Bitcoin in cold storage somewhere, we need tons of Bitcoin angel investors. Because your one BTC that you've stacked, or half a BTC or quarter of a BTC, goes a much longer way here than where you are in helping someone experiment an idea of an application of Bitcoin that's integrated into people's lives that can potentially become a big business. Those companies make money, you make it big. Of course, we know it's a law of average with investing in companies. Some will make it, some won't. But you won't get anyone to make it if we're not investing in them. So if there's one thing, and when you do, make sure you're coming to the engagement to learn, not to impose your own worldview about Bitcoin on the people, but to listen to them to understand the nuance, the context of their environment, so that we can all learn together how we can actually use Bitcoin to address it, because they know dimensions of their challenge that you can't. The guys in South Africa, Machankura, built a USSD application for Bitcoin. That means you can buy, sell Bitcoin without even having access to the internet. The designers, developers in New York, it's out of their realm of reality that there are people on this planet that have mobile phones and no internet. And decisions are being made that are not taking into consideration the nuances of our environment when it comes to technology and technology access and all. And so what we're doing at Bitrust is trying to see how we can get in that room, get in those rooms, get in there contributing, get in there speaking, get in there sharing, but knowing enough about this technology that we can then build these scalable companies that build these applications that address it. So we're training developers, we're connecting them to open source, but we're building, more importantly, a critical mass of Africans that can engage with this technology as producers, not as consumers.
As we conclude our discussion, Femi Long's perspective leaves us with a profound realization. The true power of Bitcoin lies not just in its speculative allure as a store of value, but in its transformative potential as a tool for financial inclusion and empowerment. It's a call to action for Africans to seize the reins of technology, to become not just consumers, but producers in the Bitcoin ecosystem. Let's embark on this journey together, embracing innovation, telling our stories, and building solutions that truly make a difference in people's lives. Stay tuned for more enlightening discussions, and remember to subscribe for the latest recaps, insights, and films about all things Bitcoin. If you want to watch another one of our podcast recaps, try this one here. We'll see you next time.